good afternoon. As we are about to begin, please take a seat. Here are the friendly reminders. During the workshop, please do not eat or drink. Please put all your digital devices on mute. Kindly make sure no flashlight when taking photos. My name is Katniss, and on behalf of Wildlife Foundation, I would like to welcome all of you to the third One SciTech, One Future series, the third Hong Kong SciTech Pioneers Award 2023 to 2024. Today is the Hong Kong SPA Pre-Award Workshop, which is sponsored by the Hong Kong SAR Innovation and Technology Commission. Besides, the award and workshop are also supported by the Henderson Land Group as the principal sponsor and our strategic partners. Thank you for the warm support. First of all, let me introduce the Wildlife Foundation and the third Hong Kong SciTech Pioneers Award 2023 to 2024. Wildlife Foundation is a registered local charitable organization which focuses on advancing frontier future innovation and improving STEAM education among youth, especially those from underserved backgrounds. Let's take a look. To foster an innovation and technology culture in Hong Kong, we host the award to recognize the contribution of young scientists and research teams in the fields of deep tech, biotechnology, space science, ESG, and future innovation. This is the timeline for the award. You may take a photo of it. Today, we are honored to have two heavyweight speakers, Mr. Chau and Professor Emil, to host the pre-award workshop to provide the applicants with essential knowledge to take their research and ideas forward. And today, we have specifically arranged a Q&A session. The main purpose is to provide everyone with the opportunity to discuss any questions they have regarding their own research and innovation project in a face-to-face setting. This aims to help everyone addressing any uncertainties they may encounter in future development and support their growth. For the questions related to the competition, please approach me or our Director Roy after the workshop. Now, please come to the front of the stage together and take a group photo with our speaker, Mr. Chau. Everyone, please.
Please come outside. Thank you.
係望鏡頭，企好未？後邊嘅同學或者係先生可以睇睇，可唔可以再近一啲？可能要請阿 Prof 再踏前一步，我哋往前一步好嗎 ？OK。Guys, boys, can you step forward and look at the camera? And we have to take a lot of it. Just keep your smile as always. And again, hold on.
Okay,
use a
and
different
here,
camera.
and here first. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay.
Okay, hold on. One word, and then keep your smile. 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you all. Please take a seat now. Now, I would like to introduce our speaker. We are honored to have Mr. Chau with us today. Mr. Chau is the founder and principal of CNC Chau & Co. and a distinguished member of the Hong Kong legal community. Mr. Chau has initiated an IPO for the celebrity singer James Chau's conceptual stock company, Star Plus Legend Holding Limited. With over 20 years of extensive experience, Charles has successfully represented clients in more than 200 transactions involving public and private company acquisitions, joint ventures, financings, and pre-IPO investments. Charles' significant contribution to the legal profession and his dedication to fostering innovation have established him a key figure in Hong Kong business landscape. Today, Mr. Chau is going to elaborate legal issues for startup tech companies. Let's give Mr. Chau a big warm hand. Mr. Chau, please.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. So thank you for coming for this seminar this afternoon. So, I think some of you or all of you have your own company established or considering setting up your own company. So that's why I think that would be good for you to have some kind of legal sense so that you can avoid some of the problems that has to be killed in the future. So this is my contact. So I will give you some time if you want to have any questions on today's topic or any other related questions. So feel free to WhatsApp me or WeChat me after today. So I will give you some time to do that. Okay, so I will start now. So first of all, before I start, I would like to share with you there are 3 common myths about law. First of all, startups don't need lawyers, while only large corporations need to ensure legalities of the operation. So why bother with legalities of the startup operation now? We are still at our very early stage, so we have no profit, so we don't need to care about this. Well, obviously this is not correct. Lawyers assist you all along your growth at every stage. So we help you to get things done in a lawful manner and controlling risk at the same time. So startup is a business, so you should not violate any law. And also the respective rights and obligations of the founders have to be clearly defined and agreed at an early stage. You may remember you watched a movie, the Social Network, about the dispute of the founders of Facebook. And then because of those 2 partners, they haven't clearly defined the rights and obligations at the early stage. So one of the co-founders' shares have been fully diluted to a very low percentage. So that is not desirable. So this is one of the examples that you need to think about this at this early stage. Also, startup will need to sign contract with external parties. So these are legally binding obligations. So you need to know what rights you will enjoy and what obligations you assume before putting down the signature. And also you need to ensure the fruits of your hard work are protected. So you also need to ensure you have not infringed other people's rights. So this is important. So the common saying, prevention is better than cure. And then one wrong move can lead to defeat. So this is two important message we need to bear in mind. The second one, while lawyers are human equivalent of vampires, while lawyers will leave your resources dry and leave you with nothing but a host of incomprehensible legal jargon and a happy bill. Well, to a certain extent, this is correct. And some years ago, I went to Beijing and then had chat with this famous director, Tong Xiaogang. And then he said, I will say in Mandarin, 周律师，律师呢，对我们电影行业呢是很重要的，但是我们都不知道律师在讲什么的，怎么办呢？唯一就是你要找一个可信赖的律师，然后呢就相信他的话。This is what he said. I think this is very true. You need to have reliable lawyers. Of course, lawyers have the duty to explain things to you in a more user-friendly language, but at the same time, you need to have a reliable lawyer that you can trust, and then you can consult him whenever you have any questions. Well, lawyers, legal services, of course, are not cheap, but they are lawyers who understand the special needs of startup and can offer more value for money services. And then the third one, all lawyers are the same. Do you think so? Of course not. Just from time to time, you may ask your friends to recommend doctors. So because you know some doctors are better than others, and then some doctors have different speciality, so you need to find the right one. But that's the same for lawyers. We have a very diversified scope of work. Some people specialize in litigation, some people like me only do corporate transactions. So you need to find the right lawyer. And then each lawyer are not the same. And as a misguided effort to save costs, so startup may hire some experienced lawyers. Those are friends or who can offer a deep discount. And then, but I can tell you, founders can deny themselves the advice of competent and experienced lawyers who can help them avoid any legal problems. And then that will actually save your money for the future. So today you're lucky. Yes, you're having a free lunch day. You have free legal advice from a seasoned business lawyer who has more than 20 years of experience from advising large corporations, startup, and financial institutions. So who is this person? This is me. So these are some of the photos and taken by me before. And then I attend a lot of seminars and conferences, and then and also sometimes we interview by media. Okay, so we will talk about the agenda today. These are the 10 topics I'm going to cover in this hour. So first of all, the relationship among co-founders. So this is the example I mentioned to you earlier. Founder dispute can destroy an early stage venture and needs to be handled with care, due diligence, and wisdom from legal advisor. So these are the issues you need to bear in mind when you do a business with your friends. First of all, you need to think about the ownership of the entity. So, for example, the financial contribution, how much money each of you are going to contribute. If someone is contributing intellectual property, so who owns the IP? Who are going to contribute the business insight and management skills? Is there any loans that you need to borrow from the founder? So these are issues of ownership. On your staff, you may need to get some rewards for them. So you need to think about whether you need to have share award schemes, give them some options in the future. And then also on these options, will that be granted at different milestone, at different stage? So you need to think about that. Also, there are limitations and restrictions on shares and also transfer to outsider. So we wish to talk about no one can sell the shares within a certain period. Well, in case any new investors come in, so whether there will be any dilution, that is to avoid diluting your ownership, or whether when someone wants to sell the shares, it's the other shareholder who have the right to buy it first. So these are the issues you need to bear in mind when setting up the new venture. On corporate governance, who is going to be the chair, who is going to be the CEO, who is going to be the director of the company. So if there is a financial investor to the company, so will that investor be entitled to any board seats? What are the obligations and rights of the different people? How is the board meetings be conducted? The frequency, 3 months, every 3 months, every month, every 2 weeks. What the quorum for meeting? Who has the voting rights? Anyone who will have the veto rights of the matters. So these are matters on corporate governance. And on intellectual property, so if some of you have invented something that you want to commercialize the IP, so you may wish to assign the IP into the company, and then or license the IP to the company. So these are issues you need to consider. Confidentiality. So how is the trade secret of the company being protected? Well, in case of any dispute among the co-founders, so what is the dispute resolution method? Also, the exit arrangement. So if one of you is no longer a partner of the company, and then will there be any restriction that you cannot do the same business within certain period? Any restriction that you cannot solicit any existing staff or existing client or existing supplier of the company for your new business. So these are issues you need to bear in mind. Company formation. There are 2 different types of company. First of all, you need to bear in mind, although you are setting up your own business, even if you are setting up on your own, so you need to separate yourself and the company. So the company is a separate legal entity. So you are just the shareholder of the company. So you are not the company. So this is the concept. Because in case any people sue the company, so that they will sue the company, which is not sue you. So this is the key difference. And then the company asset and the person asset, you need to clearly distinguish which asset you need to inject into the company. Say, I provide, say, 5 million cash to the company as the capital, or I contribute the IP or the patent I invented to the company. So these are, after that, the cash and the patent will become company's asset. It's no longer your asset. So this is the key difference. And then this is the very common structure of a startup company for companies listed in Hong Kong. So instead of just setting up a company in Hong Kong to run the business, normally people will have different layers of companies. Like normally you have a BVI company, you own, assuming you are founder A. So you will set up a new company in BVI, and then which holds the shares of the Cayman Islands company, which will be used as the listing vehicle in the future. And then the listing vehicle will hold another BVI company, and then hold a Hong Kong company and a PLC company. So why we need to do this structure? There are obvious tax benefit for that. Because with the SIPA arrangement between Hong Kong and mainland, Hong Kong company will have a lower withholding tax. So in case the company, China business, mainland China business have profit, they will need to distribute outside the mainland to Hong Kong company by way of dividend. So using a Hong Kong company, be the shareholder of the PLC company, you will have obvious tax benefit. And why do we have a BUA company between the Cayman company and Hong Kong company? Yeah, because in case Hong Kong have stamp duty, but BVI has no stamp duty. So in case you want to sell the business in the future to a third party, so if you sell the Hong Kong company, you will need to pay stamp duty. But people, instead of selling the Hong Kong company, they will sell a BVI company, so that there will not be any stamp duty for sale and purchase of BVI company. So, and then you may ask, why do we need to have one layer of a BVI company between you and the Cayman network? This is for separation of risk. So normally, you will not be a direct shareholder of the disco. Only the BVI company will be the direct shareholder of the disco. So in case that anyone sue a shareholder, they will only sue the BVI company instead of to sue you personally. So there are some wisdom behind this structure. Choice of company name. The company's name is very important. It is an
May I have a question?
Sure.
Why there's a Cayman layers between the two BVIs?
The Cayman company, people will be using as a listed company. It is, well, in Hong Kong, I think half of the company listed in Hong Kong are Cayman company, although they own Hong Kong or mainland business. So why we use a Cayman company? First of all, it is very common to use a Cayman company. And then there's no stamp duty or after listing there will be stamp duty, but before listing there would not be stamp duty. So that's why before the IPO, in case you want to sell the part of the shares to another person, if you use a Hong Kong company to own the business, so you will subject to stamp duty. The Cayman company, there will not be stamp duty. And then we don't use people hardly ever use a BVI company to be the listing vehicle, because there's a quite unique features under BVI company's law that will make using it as a listing vehicle not very convenient. So it is because it's very technical, so I won't elaborate here. So to answer your question, it is very common for people to use a Cayman company as a listing vehicle.
So does it mean like before IPO, having another layer BVI between the Cayman and Hong Kong is not necessary?
Well, it is necessary because in case you want to do it in the future, transfer of a Hong Kong company will be subject to stamp duty. I'll show you this chart. So if you want to set up a BVI company later, not now, that is to say, you're selling the Cayman company will be selling the Hong Kong company to the BVI company. So this is involved a sale of shares of a Hong Kong company, and that will be subject to stamp duty. So at this point of time, you set it up, very minimal cost. But after you set up the business, you have a good business, and then the stamp duty would be quite high. So that would not be a wise choice. So that's why you need to do this. You need to have the structure as if you are a listed company. So although you may think, oh, this is go back to the myth of a law. You say, oh, this is not necessary. But if you do it earlier, you will save money. You do it later, you need to spend more money.
Question. For the profit of the company, is it taxed to, say, the Hong Kong company or the BVI company? For example, if I want to go to Dubai for that matter.
Well, for Hong Kong tax law, if the profit is driven by Hong Kong operation, no matter who is the holding company is, you will need to pay Hong Kong profit tax. Yeah, but if Hong Kong company is just the holding vehicle, your main business is in mainland China. So Hong Kong, the operation will be in mainland China. So you will get the dividend from PLC company, and And then Hong Kong does not charge tax on dividend, so you don't need to pay Hong Kong
But
stamp duty.
what if I produce in China,
Mhm.
and then buy in Hong Kong, and then sell in the United States? Then the profit, the markup from Hong Kong to the United States will be.
Yeah, probably yes.
Would be paid to the United States or paid to?
Well, for Hong Kong, because you sell to them and then US pay you the money, so you will earn profit in Hong Kong.
So for that matter, if I incorporate in Dubai, which has a lower tax than Hong Kong, like 12%, right?
Mhm.
It'd be more profitable for me to list in Dubai and and also incorporate in Dubai, correct?
Well, I think for Hong Kong, it really depends on the sources of your income. So it doesn't really matter, even if you set up a Dubai company and then operate in Hong Kong, so you will still need to pay Hong Kong tax. If the goods are sold, PRC goods is sold to Hong Kong, and then you transfer to Hong Kong, and then Hong Kong company sell to US. But if you sell to Dubai company, that would be another issue, is unrelated to Hong Kong, so probably they will not pay Hong Kong tax. So the company's name is intangible asset, so you need to choose the right name. Before you choose the name, I think you need to do some homework, because your name may be used by other people. So you may wish to go to the company's registry to search whether your proposed name has been used by someone, and then also do a trademark search, because if your design has already been used by other people, that would not be good for you, so as the domain name. So you may also consider avoid using some names which will limit your business growth, because you may only do one business at this point of time, but you may want to expand to the upstream or downstream business. So, or you may have different lines of company. So, if your name is too specific, that may not be good for your development. Just like the carbon bus company. So it used to be called a bus company, but in fact, other than bus business, they have other business. So in the list code, they will use it, call it Joy Tong. It is unrelated to the carbon motor bus. Carbon motor bus is just one of the business. So these are some examples of using similar names and could be sued by other people. So now I will proceed to raising funds before IPOs. So there are various methods of pre-IPO financing. Normally, you will raise funds through people subscribe new shares of the company. So this is we call equity financing. Or if you don't want some people to be a shareholder of the company, you want to be your own boss. You are the only shareholder. So you may wish to lend money from a bank or lend money from other people, wealthy people. So that would be that you sign a loan agreement. We call it a facility agreement. So this is called debt financing. So instead of equity, this is debt. Or there is middle ground. You don't want people to become shareholders of the company at this point of time, or the investor does not want to be a shareholder because they think that, well, they're not sure about the business. So let's then use some money first. And then if you're doing well, I can convert the loan into shares. So there would be some kind of another halfway house we call the convertible loans agreement. That is to say, lend you the money first, a debtor, and then at some point of time, there could be, he or she has the right to convert the debt into the shares. In the typical financial arrangement, of course, people give you money, so they need to have something return. So they will have some rights. You can take a look at this table. For preference shares, normally people will have preference shares because in case the company is going to wind up, preference shareholder will, in theory, get the money first. But unfortunately, normally, in case the company is going to liquidation, there won't be much cash left. So this is just an academic question, but still they will prefer to have preferred shares. And on the corporate governance, investor, because they want to have some control over your company, because they give you money and then they want to ensure the money well spent. So they will have some special rights, like the information right. You need to provide them with the accounts, financial statement on a regular basis. They have the inspection rights. They can come to your office to see how you're doing. They can appoint auditor to come to your office to check your finance. They may have the right to elect, nominate a director to the board to make sure that the company is run properly. And then if they don't want to nominate a director, they may nominate an observer to the board. Well, anti-dilution means if your company, say, I'll give you an example. If a company, the capital is $100, then the investor hold 10%, so give you $10, so they hold 10%. But in case after the investment, there is another investor wants to invest in the company, so they provide, say, $20. So after that, the company capital will become 120, and then the $10 no longer means 10%, because the base has enlarged. So some investors may think that undesirable, because they may think that the shareholding percentage will be diluted. So that's why they could have anti-dilution rights. That is to say, well, in case the company capital has increased, say, to $120, they want to keep the 10% shareholding. So they have the right to provide additional investment, say $2. So from $10 to $12, so that the rights they can keep the percentage holding. Of course, but they have the right not to contribute. And then in that case, the shares holding percentage will be diluted to a lower percent. So this is the anti-dilution concept. And protection of investment, they could have redemption rights. Say after you have a contract review, say after 5 years after the investment, you need to complete the IPO. Otherwise, they will have the investment back. So this is also quite common. Co-sell rights, then you say if the controlling shareholder is selling the business to a third party, they will have the rights to follow. So that's why they will not be dealing with the new controlling shareholder. They will sell at the same time. And the other rights will be the dividend rights and also the most favored nation treatment. That is to say, after our investment, if you have any other new investors coming into the company, and then you give the new investors some favored treatment, and then you have to give the same treatment to the existing investor. That is the MFN arrangement. So under Hong Kong listing rules, the special rights of the shareholder have to be terminated upon the completion of the IPOs. So after IPO, everyone will be treated the same. The fifth part will be getting the required permits and licenses. So in some jurisdictions, places, you need to get the license in order to conduct a business. The requirement in Hong Kong is relatively simple. You just need, unless for some very special industry, like a bank, you need to have a banking license, or you need to run a TV station, you need to have a license of the broadcast authority. But in most of the time, you don't need a special license. You just need to set up a company and have a business registration license will be only required. But for other places, like mainland China or say United States, there could be a specific license required. So you need to bear in mind and consult the local authorities to ensure that your operation can be commenced properly. And then if you don't have, what is the consequence of not having this license? You will not able to bid for the opportunities. You will have reputation risk because you will be penalized, arrest, or involved in lawsuit. The authority may ask you to cease operation, and then this non-compliance of law would need to be disclosed in the listing document in the future, in the IPO. So investors will have a bad impression on you also. At the early stage of the operation, you have not fully complied with the law. So that's why I say at the early beginning, startup needs to have lawyers to help you to ensure your business operation is proper. And also, if the non-compliance is too material, under Hong Kong listing rules, that could affect your suitability for listing. So, and then the stock exchange may reject your listing application at the outset if the non-compliance is so material. For example, you have years of operation without a license, so that is a very serious question. So probably in this case, they would reject your application right away. And this is what I mentioned, and also that would affect the qualification of a proposed director, because the directors runs the company. So if a director is aware of the of this non-compliance and did nothing, the stock exchange will challenge the integrity of that person. Say that you have no integrity, and then you are not suitable to be a lawyer. So this could be very, the results could be quite serious. Employment issues, in Hong Kong, the employment issues are relatively straightforward. The main legislation is the Employment Ordinance, which is Chapter 57 of the Laws of Hong Kong. So the Employment Ordinance provides comprehensive range of employment protections and benefits. For example, wage protection, you need to have the minimum salary for each staff. I think now it's 30, 40 something Hong Kong dollar per hour. You need to ensure the employee will have enough rest days, whether they will have entitled to holiday pay, annual leave, sick leave, paternity leave, paternity leave, and also the severance payment, long service payment. These are all provided under the Employment Ordinance. And also, I want to draw your attention that you are an owner of the company, so you will probably need to have some staff, and then you need to interview the staff. So there are some areas that you would have to avoid. For example, you ask people about how are you. It's not, because people will think that you are thinking I'm too old or too young, and then this is age discrimination. You ask for ladies, female employee, you ask, well, the arrangement of your child care. This is also not desirable, because that may give the impression that for married wife, if you need to take care of children, and then they may affect the quality of the work, and then some people will prefer not to employ this type of employee. So this is also a discrimination prohibited under Hong Kong. So you ask about the race, about whether you're disabled or marital status, or national origin, religion, or sexual orientation. These are questions that you should not ask directly. But it doesn't mean you cannot know, but you need to handle it with care. You cannot ask the question and then give the impression that you are using this as the basis for you to determine whether you are going to give an offer to that potential employee. So that has to be handled with great care. For an employment, after you select the employee, you will enter into an employment contract with them. So these are the typical items to be included in an employment contract, including the job title, your role, your responsibilities, whether you're full-time, part-time staff, what is the commencement date of your employment, the salary arrangement, what is the benefit, any vacation, any paid leave, any relocation leave, bonus, stock option, whether the position is at will, that is to say, can be terminated any time, or there is any fixed term contract with the employment. So also we will advise you to do a separate signing of confidentiality agreement, because some say key technical staff, they may he or she may have access to some of the trade secret if you are having a high-tech company. So so you better to sign a confidentiality agreement to ensure that during the employment, the employee cannot leak any information to third party. And after the term of the employment, normally the confidentiality duties will continue, because after they leave the company, they cannot leak your information, this very sensitive technical information to the competitor. And also innovation. If you engage some, say, engineer, they may have invent some of new products, and then that product could be subject to is a patent. So you need to ensure the ownership of the patent belongs to the company instead of the individuals. Otherwise, after the termination of the employment, they can license the product to other people, and then the company would have another competitor. The dispute must be in court in case of any dispute. So what to do? Go to court or go to arbitration. And Hong Kong, you need to contribute a mandatory provident fund as an employer for your employee. Although the amount is not very high, which is capped to 1,500. So also if the employee is not good, you may wish to terminate the employee. So these are the proper steps to terminate an employment. Well, normally the company would need to have an employee handbook which set out clearly the disciplinary policies and procedures for violation. And also you need to review the employment letter of the employee to see whether there's any terms. We would suggest you take a progressive discipline approach if misconduct is not serious. So for a minor breach, like say come to office late for a few times, so if you immediately terminate employment, that would be a bit too serious. So normally you would need to have some warning. Warning can be verbal or written, and then after several warnings, you will have more build up your case for more serious, more draconian legal action. And also you need to conduct exit interview and with the employee to ensure that the rights and obligations of the two parties can be clearly communicated. Calculation of last paycheck, don't make mistake, otherwise they will, an unhappy employee may go to the labor department to make a complaint. Also, you will wish to revoke the employee's access to the computer network and remind employee of his continuing obligations under the confidentiality agreement and also the invention assignment agreement. They will say, well, you have already assigned the IP to the company, so it is no longer your property.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask a quick question. So regarding minimum wage, if let's say we have an employee who we want to hire this person full time, but then we don't want to, take the wage as high as 7,000, which is the minimum wage. Is it possible to have it slightly lower than that as the base pay, but then offset that with like a commission base? Would that still be in accordance with the law, or would that not apply?
Well, I won't say this is a good arrangement.
Okay.
You can, because the minimum wage is on hourly basis. So you can structure the contract, say that you just say, come to office, say for 5 hours. So that you will have a lower salary, because if you ask them to come for 8 hours, you need to pay. But I think frankly, the minimum wage is very low. I don't think if you start with a company, you will probably pay higher than that. Even for people at McDonald's selling hamburgers, they are paid above the minimum wage. So I don't think a corporate company will pay employee less than the minimum wage.
Okay.
So also the dismissal, I would say only very serious misconduct can deserve an immediate dismissal. And there are some scenarios that you cannot dismiss an employee, like when a female is pregnant, when an employee is on sick leave, or the employee is by reason of giving evidence in any proceedings, and also dismissal of employee for trade union membership. This is also not proper. So these are prohibited. They can go to the labor department and sue you. So this is one of the case study I won't talk about here. So we can take a look later. So next step we talk about how to incentivize an employees, because some people start a company. Well, if one join a more well-established company, the salary would normally be higher. But joining a startup company, because the company is small and then with limited cash, so normally the salary will be slightly lower than more well-established company. So how to incentivize the employees? So people will have some kind of arrangement, like a share option scheme, restricted share scheme, or limited partnership as employee incentive platform. These are the way that to give employees some hope that when the companies become listed in the future, you will be able to get some shares of the company, and then you will be able to become a millionaire or billionaire. So like in United States, in the Silicon Valley, a lot of the tech startup company, like this Facebook, those company, the employees are very wealthy because the company or Apple company will give them share options, so that they are also become part of the shareholder of the company. So we can have the same interest. They are not just an employee getting the salary. They want the company become successful. They want the company become listed, so that they can sell the shares and then they can become millionaire or even billionaire. So these are the common arrangement for this tech startup company. At the same time, piano investors will be interested to know how many shares will be issued under pre-IPO scheme, because that is they will dilute the shareholding. For share scheme, they will the company will issue additional shares to the employees, so that the shareholding of the existing shareholder will be diluted. So, but this is okay, because the investors would want you to have a team of incentivized employees. So normally they will accept to a certain extent some kind of dilution of their shareholding. For common practice in market, startup company will arrange for shares for reserve for this option scheme would range from 5% to 15%. Some less than 5% is quite uncommon, because otherwise that would be too little. More than 15% would be a bit too much. So normally 5 to 10 would be the norm. It's not very common to have more than 10, but in some cases I see 12 or 15, but definitely below 20. Otherwise that would be too much. Intellectual property, because you are running a high-tech company, so the intellectual property will be your core asset. So IP will involve different types. Some trade secret know-how they will be cannot be registered. Only some kind of forms of patent can be registered. So in any event, first of all, I mentioned two agreements earlier. That is the confidentiality agreement. So the employees will be subject to will be asked to sign a confidential agreement, so that they can, after the termination of the employment or during the course of employment, they cannot disclose all the technical secret of the company to third party. And then I also mentioned the innovation assignment agreement. You will be asking your employees or independent contractor to assign the intellectual property rights for the services to the company, so that the ownership of this product will belong to the company. It's up to them individually. Scope of work will typically include innovations, discoveries, improvement, research, development, and also works of authorship, and also program and know-how ideas. All these things have to be assigned to the company, and they're owned by the company. So that's why I think the separation of person, asset, and the company is step. So after those asset property have been assigned to the company, they are no longer their property. And for Hong Kong, because of the high-tech company, the stock exchange sees very important. Like the biotech company, the core product would be the IP rights. So that's why the stock exchange will require a very clear statement of the proposed listed company, materials, rights, and obligations, which is under the applicable license agreement to be disclosed in the prospectus. And also the details on any patent granted or applied in relation to those core products. So from research to commercialization. So you may have your invention, but at the same time, there are other invention of other third party that can be attractive to your business. So I'll take an example of drugs company. So drugs could be very popular in, say, in United States, but those drugs not yet available in mainland China. So, and then some biotech company, they will, instead of inventing a new drugs, they will just license from the owner, like a big pharma company in the US, that drugs, and then further develop it, do some R&D, and then do some more clinical trial, and then localize the drugs, and then make it become a drugs in mainland China to sell. So in fact, many of these biotech companies in China are doing these things. So we will do a licensing transactions. So licensing transactions can involve a combinations of rights and obligations of the license source and the licensees, such as the field, the territories, the financial compensation, the reporting, also the technical transfer, technical assistance to be offered. So in many cases, to best meet current goal, license may require additional transaction elements, like setting up a joint venture, signing a supply agreement, distribution agreement, that type of things. So there could be lots of different ways of cooperation between the licensor and the licensee. So these are the typical licensor's range of scope of activities, licensor's scope of activities. So these are the key terms, typical key terms of a licensing agreement. So I will make quick parties, the definition, then you define what is the product to be licensed, the grant, whether it is exclusive or non-exclusive, whether allows you to supply things. What is the ownership rights of the improvement of the technology? What is the compensation, the license fee? How to put the property to record? When would that be terminated? What other obligations, covenants, that type of things. So this is another case study that involves invention assignment, so I won't talk about now. Data securities and data protection. This is also very important. Because Hong Kong, first of all, Hong Kong we have the privacy requirement, so you cannot disclose the personal data of, say, your employees to your customer unlawfully. So this is so you need to have some kind of protective measures to adopt, including confidentiality categorization with different levels of secrecy. Some information can be accessed by people at this level, and more confidential information can only be accessed by, say, more senior people. Access control will have the right to look at this data, whether the data will be in script or put on the cloud or any arrangement to avoid the leakage. So these are very important. So we will have some fundamental provisions in the privacy policy statement. You need to tell the employees and customers or supplier what information will be collected. I think you're very familiar with that because when you fill in the form, say the credit card or online purchase, they will have a small lines, a few paragraphs saying that how your personal data will be treated, and then how your information will be used, whether they will be shared or transferred to third party, what are the steps of the company adopted to protect confidentiality and securities of the information collected. So this is one of the typical privacy policy statement. And Hong Kong law, we have these 6 general principles of protection of personal data. We need to mention the purpose of connection, the purpose and the means, accuracy of the and retention, how you can retain the information, how you can use it, what are the securities arrangement, whether that will be open to other people, and also who have the assets, and also whether the user have the right to correct the information. So I would now talk about before signing a contract. So what should you do? First of all, you need to have a clear idea that there's no concept of a template for a contract because each deal has its own unique commercial features. So sometimes you just copy and paste another contract and then just change the name and you think you're very clever and you save the legal fee. No need to involve a lawyer. But I tell you, this is very wrong because first of all, as I mentioned, each deal is different. Some deals, the contract, you have no background to the contract that you're trying to copy. So that could be heavily negotiated by the two sides. So sometimes the contract may be more favorable to the buyer. Sometimes the contract may be more favorable to the seller. So you cannot tell. And also there are some provisions that does not appear on your sample contract, but it doesn't mean they are not important to you. But they're just maybe the results of negotiation, or maybe they are not applicable to the case. So that you think, oh, the contract have 2 pages, you think it is good enough. No, maybe the contract may need to be 10 pages because they have deleted some clauses that you don't know. So that's why you will be recommended to consult an experienced business lawyer in order to protect your interests and liability, in order to achieve a win-win situation in the commercial deal. And then you will need to aware of the consequence of breach of contract. So whether there will be penalty, and also the dispute resolution, whether any dispute will be resolved at court, or whether they will be resolved through arbitration. So these are the legal issues to consider. Other legal issues to sign before you sign a cooperation agreement, like just I mentioned the IP, the scope and the target, the territory of cooperation, the duration of cooperation, how the technology can be used, and whether this is exclusive license or non-exclusive. Exclusive means they can only work with you, and then if they work with other people, they will be breached. The non-exclusive means they can, the other party can also do the same thing with other people other than you. So you may, in that case, those people may become your competitor. IP due diligence, make sure that you know what IP you are licensing in, ascertain the IP ownership, and also whether this is a license, because that could be a sub-license. The one who licensed the product to you doesn't mean he or she is the owner. He may license the product from another third party, and then sub-license to you, just like in the way the Bao Zhou Gong, the fact does not belong to him. So you need to ensure that he or she has the right to sign the contract with you. Payment, what is the payment arrangement, the governance structure, all these things you need to pay in mind. IPO, so I think this is the last topic for today. The key advantage of listing is to, of course, most importantly, raise money to expand your business and portfolio of your patent. You can also enhance your credibility and branding, because the company, it's a listed company, people will have more respect on that. You need to consider the liquidity of these private equity investors. That you say people invest in you as a shareholder before the IPO, but they are not going to stay with you for good. They want to, while they invest in the company, they want to make a profit. How do they make a profit? They make a profit by selling the shares on the stock market. So we need to ensure that is a liquidity for them. Also, you can, for a listed company, if you want to buy another company, you may not need to use cash. You may be able to issue new shares to buy a company from another person. So, but if a private company, no one will think your shares will be valuable. But for a listed company, because this trade on the stock market, so they can sell the shares anytime, or there will be increase of share price, so they can earn additional money. And improvement of financial position, because you raise funds and then you can you have more money, so of course the financial position will be improved. And also for the liquidity, provide liquidity for the employees with stock option, so that how those employees become billionaire, they will do it by selling the options to the public. So these are the key advantages of listing in Hong Kong. Well, I won't repeat it. You know, Hong Kong is international financial center. Although recently, in the past 2 years, there are very few IPOs in Hong Kong, and also the money raised during the IPO has decreased quite significantly. But I think the worst time has gone. With this more favorable state policy, there will be more and more companies in mainland China would like to list in Hong Kong. So for biotech company, these are the most common sector.
question.
Right.
If you want to go IPO, how early do you need to really hire somebody to do compliance for IPO?
Well, we will, for an IPO, there will be lots of professional parties involved. First of all, the main professional party is the sponsor, which is the investment bank. So the stock exchange will be dealing with the sponsor. They will not be dealing with the company directly. All communication with the stock exchange.
Does the company has to hire somebody who look at compliance early on so that it will be IPO?
Well, it really depends on the scale of the company. For some companies, even after IPO, they may not have a special person to handle compliance work. Yeah, the boss or the company secretary who can handle that. And then it really depends on whether you think it is necessary. So this table shows the basic minimum requirement for listing in Hong Kong. For most of the company, I would say it is the general requirement. There are some other special requirement. For general requirement, the company would need to have a trading track record. We call track record for 3 years. That is to say, you need to run the company at least for 3 years. And then during the 3 years, the management of the company should basically stable, cannot change substantially. The ownership of the company, say the controlling shareholder of the company, cannot be changed 1 year prior to the IPO. And then we need to have this financial indicator. The most common test is the profit test. That is to say, during the past 3 years, total profit have to be at least 80 million Hong Kong. And then that could be in the most recent year, financial year before IPO, that has to be at least 33 million Hong Kong. And the 2 preceding years would be at least 4 million. It's 45, it's a typo, sorry. And this is the profit test. But if a company, for a tech company, it may not be profitable at early stage. We need to have heavy investment. So that's why we have the 2 other sets of tests, which is called the market cap revenue test, and also the market cap revenue cash flow test. So I'm very bad with dealing with numbers, so you can take a look at the table. So that is to say, if you do not have profit, if the company is big enough or the valuation is high enough, that could be okay under the traditional listing requirement. But this is not too ideal for some company, like the biotech company. That would take a long time for a company to make profit. So that's why in 2018, the Hong Kong Stock Exchange has introduced the Chapter 18A of the listing rules. That is to provide a separate mechanism, separate regime for biotech company for listed in Hong Kong. So these are the, since 2018, there are more than 60 biotech companies listed in Hong Kong. And these are the areas these companies are engaged in. And then for biotech company, the revenue biotech company, you can forget what I mentioned earlier. Those profit tests, they are too harsh for you. So under the new Chapter 18A, the listing requirement would be, first of all, you need to have at least 1 core product beyond concept stage. That is to say, the drugs have to go through this clinical trial. You need to go through at least stage 1 of the clinical trial, and then have the approval to proceed to phase 2 of the clinical trial. So that's to say, this is not just a concept. This is something more real, because you have already conducted the clinical trial. The company has to engage in R&D of the core products for at least 12 months of listing. And the reason for relisting would be raise fund for R&D to commercialize the core products. And the core products have to be protected by patent. Also, you need to have a pipeline of other pharmaceutical or biological products. Yes, you can only have one product, then otherwise that would be too risky. You need to have pipelines. Pipelines can be more earlier, preclinical trial will be okay, but you need to have at least two. You cannot have only one. And you have to receive meaningful third-party investment from at least one sophisticated investor. So because the public cannot judge whether your company is good or not. So if someone, a sophisticated investor like the healthcare fund or large funds or big family office, they are willing to invest in your company and take risks. So that is to say the company should not be too bad. So this is the rationale of having this requirement. And then at the time of the IPO, the market capitalization, the valuation of the company have to be 1.5 billion at least. And then you instead of having 3 years of operation, as I mentioned earlier, you need to have 2 years of operation. Will be good enough. And then the working capital, this biotech company is a burning money machine. So the regulator would be very concerned if you don't have enough money to continue your business after the IPO. So that's why the requirement would be after the IPO, you need to have at least 125% of the group cost for at least 12 months after the IPO. Instead of doing a direct listing, Hong Kong Stock Exchange also introduced called a SPAC regime. SPAC means Special Purpose Acquisition Corporation. That is like a fund. We call it blank check company. The company has no business at the time of listing, and then they will raise money in 2020. I think there are only 6 SPAC listed in Hong Kong, and then so far there's only one SPAC that has already completed. We call it the SPAC process actually acquired the target. I heard that the second one will come soon, but still only one at this point of time. And for high-tech company, the stock exchange also introduced a new listing regime. We call the specialist tech industries, a more favorable regime for this. So I'm not going to repeat, not to read out this type of company. So that can be categorized at this point of time, categorized in 3 different types, including the next generation information technology, which is the cloud-based service and AI, advanced hardware and software, advanced materials, new energy and environmental protection, and also new food and agricultural technologies. So maybe this vegetable meat, that type of business. So if you are considering doing this business, so the new Chapter 18C listing regime will be applicable to you. Well, so far, I think Hong Kong have one 18, we call 18C company because it's the requirement is promulgated under the Chapter 18C of the listing rules. That one is the AI Zhenghai, is an AI pharmaceutical company, and I was involved in that matter. I act for Mr. Nika Kit, which is the chairman of the Henderson Group, the sponsor of this competition. He invests as the cornerstone investor of the company, and then I act for Mr. Lee as his advisor. So these are the listing requirements under Chapter 18C. So I won't read out one by one. So it is basically a more relaxation of the traditional requirement. you don't need to have profit requirement. I think you will be getting these slides from the organizers. So I'm now going to conclude. What I want to say is startup that manage to avoid legal pitfall and the steps will have a better chance of success than those who fail to appreciate legal risks and plan for them from the very beginning. So that's why you need to invest and build a sound legal framework at early stage to avoid big problems in the future. So I think now we have some time so that we can answer any of the questions. Then I'm showing my WhatsApp and WeChat barcode again. So in case you missed it earlier, you can do it now.
Can you talk a little bit about the valuation process? The valuation.
Well, valuation is just a process that can be quite easily determined. The investors invest in a company. Well, they may have some kind of benchmark of similar business. So sometimes they use the PE ratio, but sometimes if your company is say biotech company, they will not profit, so they will use this future cash the generation approach. So I'm not an accountant, so I'm afraid I cannot say too much. But normally they will use this type of method, comparison with the similar company, and also with this discounted cash flow approach for companies that do not have profit or revenue at the time being.
But that's more for IPO, right?
For pre-IPO investment. Pre-IPO investment. So that is before IPO. There's no market price for the company. So that would be an agreement between the investor and the target. So, but how the investors will propose a valuation? Say that I invest $10. How many shares I'm going to get? So that would depends on the valuation of the company. Whether it's $10 be 10% or 5% or 50%. So that is the valuation.
Very subjective.
Yeah, very subjective. And then they will use benchmark with other companies or discounted cash flow.
Yes, I do have one more question. So my company is a biotech company. At the moment, it's a bit better for us if we have more sales going on. So like reagents and the like, it's a little bit cheaper. But then we need to get people to actually agree to purchase a certain amount. So one of the things that we thought about to make this possible was a letter of intent, but that's not quite legally binding. Is there any way that we can provide better prices by encouraging like bigger bulk purchases that could be a bit more enforceable, so to say?
Well, I think you need to sign a legally binding contract because letter of intent is not legally binding. Normally, they just set out some key commercial terms, and then after people agree on this letter of intent, they will proceed with signing a formal contract. Send out all the terms, the price, and then all the things, and then make the transaction, formalize the transactions. So this is a legal process. But if you ask me how to increase the sales, I think I'm a lawyer, I'm not an expert, so I think you know that better than me.
Yeah, it's just in terms of it's easier to attract customers if the price is a tad bit lower. But the price can only come lower if they are willing to buy more.
Yes,
so it's sort of a chicken and egg thing.
Yes,
How do we encourage one and the other?
And you need to have money to enhance your production. So that if you don't have money, even if a lot of people are interested with the product, but I don't have enough money to have a factory and not enough workers, I can't produce sufficient amount to satisfy the demand. So there's always chicken and egg, and then it really depends on the judgment of the owner of the company.
Thanks.
One more question. Is there any concerns or principles or legal risks the company how to design on the incentive schemes for founding members? Will there be any issues like diluting the shares of existing shareholders if the company is deciding to list shares to members?
Oh, yes, there will be dilution, as I mentioned. And then I think some kind of dilution is a must, because if you don't dilute your shares, the employees will not become shareholders of the company. So they may not have the incentive to work hard. And then you need to give them some hope that, well, you become a member of the shareholders of the company. So you will be able to enjoy the upside of the company. So, but there's always a balance. That's why I said there would be a range of dilution. That is to say, normally you will agree in advance, say how the maximum number of shares the company will be issued to the employees. So you need to have this limit. So that could be, say, from 5% to 50%, as I mentioned. So the dilution effect would be under control. If it is, say, 10% increase of shares, and then your dilution may be only 10%, and you can still control the company.
I'm particularly interested at the company structure. So for many Hong Kong companies, startups, like we have a Hong Kong company at the beginning, then towards the ideal structure, can you suggest any cost-effective pathways to move to balance the current operation costs and the future costs?
Well, you buy a BVI company, it's just a few $1,000s. This is not a very huge amount of money. So I would still recommend you do it at outset, rather than after, say, some months you start this company in the future. You won't save a lot of money. You just save a few thousand, or maybe 10, 20,000 at most. This is just, but compared with the inconvenience you face in the future, I think you need to do it as early as possible.
It's like every year we have the auditing.
But if this company is no business, it's just a few, for auditors, just a few. I have seen people just paying $6,000 or $7,000 for audit fee for this type of dormant company. It's not a very huge amount of money. You better concentrate with your business and then attract investors, and then people will be impressed, because investors say, oh, you are very far-sighted. You have already set up this structure at the very beginning. They will think highly on you, and then you will get more money from the investors, rather than just thinking of this tiny amount of money.
And is there any common mistakes by transforming the current Hong Kong company to that structure?
But the common mistake is that you need to pay, when you do it in the future, when the company has become big, you need to pay stamp duty. And then the stamp duty, amount of stamp duty could be much higher than the so-called compliance audit fee you paid in the past few years.
So your suggestion is do it as early as possible?
Yes. Before your company become a big one. I think with the last question, we have another speaker. Professor Chan has arrived, so probably the last question will be talk about offline.
I noticed that people that are founders of the company, when the company went IPO, their name disappeared.
Okay.
That's what I want to understand. Is that because of some delusions or something that?
No, that is not permitted in Hong Kong. Well, I don't comment on other jurisdictions, but for Hong Kong, the controlling shareholder of a company, they cannot sell any of the shares within the first 6 months of the IPO. So after the IPO for the first 6 months, the founder cannot sell any of the shares. So their names will definitely not disappear after IPO. And then during the 7 months to 12 months after the IPO, they can sell some of the shares, but they have to maintain the status as a controlling shareholder of the company. So that's why in the worst situation, the founder has to stay as controlling shareholder for at least 1 year after IPO.
Thank you all for your thoughtful questions and engaging discussion during this Q&A session. Thank you, Mr. Chau, for your insightful presentation. Your expertise and perspective on legal issues for startup tech companies have provided us with valuable knowledge to take away. Thank you, everyone. We'll now take a 5-minute break. Please come back at your seats as the second session will start sharply at 3:40. Enjoy a break, and thank you, Mr. Chau.
back office 嗰啲要基本上佢係翻嚟睇呢度嘅，我佢唔係可以繼續一個 investor 嘅。
There's someone here, but there's no one here. So they're all actually so I know I saw 2 people here. I'm not sure about further in, but yeah, there was someone here.
Thank you.
Welcome back, everyone. We are now ready to begin the second session. Please come to the front to the stage together and take a group photo with our second speaker, Professor Emil Chen. Everyone, please.
OK，好，可唔可以褪埋少少咧？好嚟呢邊啊，一、二、三，嚟多張啊，一、二、三。OK，thank you。啊，sorry，影多一張。Sorry，one more photo。Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you all. Please take a seat now. Now, it's my pleasure to introduce Professor Chen. Professor Chen is a fintech evangelist, a digital futurist, a startup mentor, an adjunct professor, and an online columnist. Having years of experience in the digital finance sector, he has empowered numerous startups to thrive in an ever-evolving landscape. Professor Chen is also actively engaging in public service, serving as the founding chairman of the Association of Cloud and Mobile Computing Professionals, co-chair of the Hong Kong Digital Finance Association, and the chairman of the FinTech Committee of the Smart City Consortium. Today, Professor Chen is going to elaborate how the local startup ecosystem can benefit from the recent development in AI technology. Let's give Professor Chen a big warm hand. Professor Chen, please.
So I would love to make it more interactive. It's like talking to friends because I only have slightly more than an hour, and lectures are quite different because I can just have it recorded and then you can watch it later. So more interactive. So the first thing, my introduction. You know me before? No. So can we just try to Google me, please? My name is here. Okay, just type in my name, and you will find a phenomenon. What's the result? Can you find me easily? Try to scroll 20 times. It's still me. How can I make it? Today's topic is about AI usage, right? So it's a search engine. One of the best AI service provider is called Google. And I fool Google. Do I have to pay a lot of money to Google to make me so popular? No, I'm not that silly to pay Google that amount of money. So, any opinion? How could I make it?
SEO?
So there are too many SEO. Try to search
SEO.
SEO, search engine automation. Yes, but which part of SEO I play with to make myself popular? Which tool? Say, in the search engine, there's an algorithm, you know that. Say, the more people who Google that particular keyword, it will go afloat, right? So how I make it? I teach every single day, and sometimes with 500, sometimes with 50, like today. If every single class I ask somebody to Google me, so thank you for making it popular. So you see, the AI or whatever algorithm, human being can through it. So thanks again, to make me so popular. So I would love to introduce myself in such a way for all purposes. First thing, you know me now. That's me. And I wrote a lot of articles. I've been interviewed from time to time. Why? Because I want to convey some messages that, I want to make Hong Kong strong again. Okay? Secondly, this is a showcase of how we make good use of AI, right? So if it is not me, but your product, you want to make it so popular, you know how to make it happen, all right? So then go back to some fundamentals. We are here in Hong Kong, and we can see that this is 200 years ago. Somebody painted Hong Kong. So you can see that the Victoria Harbour was quite different, it's quite wide. And on the surface of the harbour, there are a lot of vessels, the small ones and the big one. Big one, easily, come from Great Britain. They conquer Hong Kong and make Hong Kong the port that continue to trade with the old China. Qing Dynasty, Qing Emperor decided to close the ports, all ports, but the British government forced it, and then to continue the trading. Very interesting. In these days, American, they want to close the trading. And in the past, they want to open the trading. So the world keeps changing. Okay, I'm not talking about politics. I'm talking about the phenomenon. Okay, so the smaller ones were all come from Guangzhou, 13 Hong. Okay, so where those middlemen locates? Because Guangzhou was the center of Guangdong, not Hong Kong. But the Brits only conquer Hong Kong because it is the mouth of the Pearl River. So in such a case, Hong Kong became larger and larger and more famous. The so-called superconnector begins with this. And what makes Hong Kong so popular? Not only because Hong Kong, the location, this is all right, but we have Macau, we have the rest of the places. But Hong Kong has very good container port. We have one of the best aircraft service, cargo and passenger. And then those are the physical infrastructure we built. Needless to say, we have water supply, power supply, and so on, internet. But on the software side, we have very good legal system, financial system, accounting system, and most importantly, human resources. Hong Kong was a fishing village, you heard of that. But what makes Hong Kong human resources so strong? Immigrants. My parents were illegal immigrants, right? So that due to the unstable political situation in China, millions of people immigrated from China to Hong Kong. And they were very hardworking. And then we had manufacturing, we have, here and there. So illegal immigrants helped Hong Kong to a certain extent that transformed Hong Kong from a fishing village to an international trading hub. Time flies. Where is it? I've been there twice. Yesterday and the day before yesterday. This is Shenzhen. Time flies. So Shenzhen was a fishing village too, or farmland. So what makes Shenzhen so popular? Of course, lately, because of the sanction. Nearly all the companies being sanctioned by America started from Shenzhen. But Shenzhen was so popular because of the same reason of Hong Kong. Human resources. There were no Shenzhen locals, maybe only 100,000. But they were not illegal. They were immigrants. The youngsters, they want to, it's too confined here in Shanghai. It's too, I cannot make myself popular because there are locals there in Beijing. So they found that Shenzhen has no locals. So if you have a bright idea, if you are creative, then Shenzhen is the place. 来了，深圳就是深圳人。Okay? So Shenzhen copy Hong Kong. Shenzhen copy Hong Kong by purpose. Deng Xiaoping came to Hong Kong and found that the Brits make Hong Kong so strong, so powerful. So can we copy them? So they make a special, so-called special administrative region, special a piece of law laid down in Shenzhen, and Shenzhen slowly not only copy Hong Kong, but surpass Hong Kong in terms of GDP, in terms of population size, in terms of, the largest listed company in Hong Kong is Tencent, Shenzhen companies. And also, Hong Kong was so student that high-tech, high-year, low-tech, low-year. Okay, if you know Cantonese, that means, for the high-tech company, is so risky. We are not going to invest. So one very famous company, they set their foot in Shenzhen, become so popular. It's DJI. Anybody from the USD? Yeah, you know that, right? You know that, you heard of the story? So you set your company later on, okay, in Shenzhen, you may make something else. So Hong Kong government or USD, they did not see the future about DJI. DJI is toys, technically now it's a military product. So very important. And Shenzhen government gave DJI an opportunity, and because of the talents in Shenzhen, we fly the best drone that the American, the European cannot copy from yet. Okay, so very importantly, so Shenzhen, they copy Hong Kong because of the openness, because of we allow creativity. Then Shenzhen become the tech hub of the China and of course for certain area, of the world. So back to Hong Kong, okay? I want you to know more background before we go deeper to the AI, the topic. We are still using coins, are we? Nobody use coins except us. But one thing is good, because in China they are saying the youngsters or the kids, they don't know how to administer their money. So they come to Hong Kong, please. They can experience. Maybe in 10 years' time, Hong Kong will be the only place that we are still using coins. And we welcome all youngsters, to learn the ancient time, how human beings using money. And we are still, using heavily check. Nobody use check except Hong Kong. And even in America, if you happen in America, you can scan your check using your app and deposit the check. So even the issuing of money is physical, but the deposit of the check, paying the check, can handle digitally. So Hong Kong is still physical, and also Autobus. We were very proud of Autobus because it's not a bank, but an independent company, and they can serve us. But it's still the same Autobus since 1997. It's no change. The same card, the same card reader, the same usability. So I feel I'm quite sorry to the company. I try to help them. I have a direct contact with the CEO, but not easy because we cannot help the company to transform easily because the later it is, the harder it can transform. It's like my English. I learned my English very late, so I have strong accent. So, my普通话的声音. So I would love to transform, but I have limitation. So this company even worse because it's 27 after 27 before upgrading the system, nicely. We need to have a breakthrough, then they have to sacrifice something. So move on. This is the worst case. I don't want Autobus and also the whole Hong Kong suffering from the same problem. Have you ever shoot a film? It's quite popular. Last week I went to Mongkok. 现在城市, wow, everybody queue up for films and instant picture. So, but this is not, it cannot sustain their business. So Kodak invented film, roll in roll, and by the time they claim Chapter 11 in 2012, they were still making the best film on earth. How difficult they were. From the top, one of the top listed company in America, down to Chapter 11. The problem was that, don't you know that they were the inventor of CCD, the sensors of images, and but the CEO told the engineer of Kodak make a portable camera and showcase it to him. And he said, lock it up. Because if I allow this creature to be popular, nobody will buy my film. So we are suffering from the same issue here in Hong Kong. We have autographs, we have our traditional IPO system, we have everything at the top of the world. But somehow, nobody treasure DJI, nobody treasure, all those new creatures, because they are eating up the profitability of the traditional stakeholders. So in such a case, now go to today's topic, AI. So what is AI? AI is not new. AI was there since 1950 something when computer was just being invented for a certain period of time. We are using AI for the very rigid calculation. So AI has a subset called machine learning. Machine learning is we have rules or we have whatever, trying to teach a computer to mimic what we are doing. So what does it mean? The best example is spam mail filtering. So don't you realize that Google, the spam mail filter, outperform your local company's spam mail filter? Why? Because we are not telling the machine that this is a spam mail. It's not the company, it's the end user. Because Google has billions of users. So whenever somebody moves a spam mail from the inbox to the spam mailbox, the computer learned that, that content with that structure, that sender is a spam mail based on a lot of activities. Or sometimes, if they make a mistake, the spam mail will move back. The defined spam mail will move back to the inboxes. So in such a case, the computer learns from this activity by the behavior of the human being. So the end user told the computer how to do it. So that's why we call it training, how to train. Let them expose to the world so that the machine will learn from what we did. But there's another subset, the smaller subset of machine learning called deep learning. So it is what's called deep learning. We mimic the human brain's way to learn, to do something. So this is even more sophisticated, but I think it is why ChatGPT becomes so powerful. So let's move on about deep learning. Let me see. Okay, not there. Deep learning. One good example is Professor Li Feifei. You heard of this name? Professor Li Feifei immigrated from China to America when she was 14. She could not speak proper English, but she's such a bright mind. She is now one of the lead professors in Stanford University. And when she was with Google, she got a task to teach the computer to recognize objects. Nobody could make it. Try with a lot of attempts, but still failed. Until she took the lead of that lab, and because she got married with her colleague, got a newborn baby, and it's a toddler at that time, called Leo. She found that Leo recognized object. This is mom, and this is ma, pa, or dad, or mom, or whatever. Okay, I don't know because she's Chinese, maybe the mother tongue. Pa and ma, but perhaps. But I just saw in the face, right? his mom, and then little Leo will recognize, his face, his mom. Then her household has some cats. The surrounding area has a lot of stray cats or cats from the neighbors. And she realized that when she points to Leo, cats, and slowly Leo recognized that that creature is a cat, not a dog or not a horse. Then can recognize this cat and tell mom, cat. So, can we do the same for AI, for the machine? So she tried to experience. Of course, for Leo, human being, after 20 or 100 times, it understands. But for the machine, she tried perhaps a million times, 10 million times. So the difference is that in the past, we have to define what is a cat. Cat with ears, cat with tails. Cat has brown in color, but not pink in color. You have to write all those rules and tell the machine what is a cat. But Leo helps Li Feifei to find a new way to teach the computer to recognize object by giving the computer millions of photos about cats, and then using the algorithm of deep learning. Then she discovered that that's a way to teach the computer to recognize object. Subsequently, not only cats, we have dogs, we have men, we have women, we have old ladies, we have young boys. Then slowly, the computer can recognize objects far better than human eyes. So recognize objects, one term, one area. Then we have LLM, right? Large language model. So listen to our conversation. So now when you talk to the phone, Egypt. Tonight I will receive, the advertisement about Egypt. So they recognize, they listen to us all the time. So I want you to know the basic of AI is not that hard to understand. And you don't have to understand the algorithm. Like you don't have to understand the mechanics of a combustion engine. Because if you are a driver, what you have to do is maneuver the car properly, and you can park the car nicely. You don't have to study the detail, right? And now you are using internet every single day. You don't have to study TCP/IP or the protocol, to move the data from one end to the other end. What you have to do is send an email. You know what is BCC, and distinguish BCC from CC. It's enough. So to learn AI, okay, even though I was a programmer, I do some certain understand about AI. I don't understand the algorithm, the deep algorithm or deep learning. But I know how to use it, and I can teach AI. So for most of you, anybody running AI startups? In what application or algorithm design?
So more in terms of healthcare and biotech.
Okay, you are using healthcare for imaging or for whatever? Which?
So mostly in terms of early risk prediction.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so sort of application of AI. Okay, good. So it's enough. Okay, there's a particular vertical, but for your company, you might use AI in other. So yeah, as simple as writing a companion letter, to Hong Kong government. They are not granting you enough funds. In the past, it's quite hard to write a letter, and now you only have to tell the machine will write it properly, or not a companion letter, maybe a phrasing letter, phrasing Hong Kong government, to giving you a good opportunity to get into this fund or that fund or cyberport. Okay, I'm one of the mentors of fintech mentors of cyberport. Okay, if you Google me, you'll know that I'm in the startup industry for a long time. Move on. So AI has, on the left, very interestingly. So we have the spam filter, the chatbot. Those are the reactive type of AI. And we have the other type is the limited memory. So the like ChatGPT on the left, we have to read it. The narrow AI to the strong AI. On the narrow AI, even ChatGPT is narrow. So they have short memory. You talk to it, you won't recognize, it is, you are their old friend. So every single conversation, they have very short period of time to remember. So this one. But we are going to go that way. They have the theory of mind, understand the need of other intelligent entity. So that one is scary. So if your machine remember that, what will happen? Somebody perhaps will fall in love with AI. There are incidents. If you talk to the AI understands you more than your husband. You divorce from your husband and stay eternally with the AI. So they're scary and self-aware. The other one, even self-aware. They evolve to have human-like intelligence and self-awareness. It's scary. We are more on the left-hand side, but based on our understanding there, we are finding a way to move onto the right-hand side. They may not have that independent thinking, but by understanding the behavior of human being more, by watching a lot of movies, for example, then they know the actors, the actress, the behavior, and they read, those books about the frictions or whatever. They will behave like the characters, and that's exactly what we are looking for, right? So that's what we are. We have to find a way, to take good care of this behavior. So why we need AI? So we are not making AI for fun. We are making AI or making good use of AI for what? Technically, for the best is for prediction. Okay, to understand what actually by reading some, so like healthcare usage, right? So by seeing the chest print, okay, X-ray print, then I know whether this patient is suffering from this disease. So the prediction. So the one good example is that I'm from the banking industry, so that we have to have a risk management. So that this is the case, we do prediction. So one good prediction or diagnosis is the Chinese post reading. To me, the process the same. Have you ever watched a soap opera or whatever called 延禧攻略? Okay, for about the Qing dynasty, the king has the queen and how to say a lot of girls, a lot of women. So one outstanding one called Yin He find a way to climb that ladder and become the queen. One scene is talking about the doctor post reading Yin He and then turn back to the emperor. Congratulations, I post read it with a pattern showing that Yin He has 3 months of baby. Okay, so have you heard of this Chinese doctor? They have this post reading technique. Have you ever? So my friend, really, my friend's wife, pregnant, and she went to see the doctor. The doctor told her, okay, now you are pregnant. So surprised, an ordinary doctor in China, and they have this capability. So for the AI, I think they are the same. They are the same by training. So the medical doctor, in Chinese medical doctor, by reading so many posts. And the Sifu, they told him that this is 欢喜麦 欢喜嘛 okay, the pose pattern of happiness. Then that pattern means pregnancy. So for us, the same. If we read health records, pulse reading also, or whatever breath readings, or blood pressure readings, and combination of all sensor collectible information, we might find that pattern equivalent to some predictive result. So for the application of AI, we can understand this based on the Chinese doctors practicing to what we are going to apply it. Okay, I'm talking about application. One thing I don't like is that Hong Kong, once again, suffering from this old belief. One incident is in February 2023, University of Hong Kong make a statement claiming that because we want to distinguish the student between they are honor or dishonor. So since I have no tool to judge whether the student use ChatGPT, so that they ban ChatGPT at all. I think the initiative is good because if you have no tool to judge, and then a lazy student they use ChatGPT, and the hardworking student they are not using ChatGPT, it's unfair to the hardworking one, right? Okay, so the initiative is right, but 6 months later they changed their mind. Why? Because it is the only university on earth have such a feeling. The university in Singapore turned it upside down. We treasure ChatGPT. Everybody can use ChatGPT. Even the government use ChatGPT. So if everybody use ChatGPT, then I can judge. So you are a student using the ChatGPT better than this student. So you are using the tool better. So we are human beings. We use tool, right? So the rest of the world all treasure, the tool called AI tool ChatGPT. And most importantly, if I were the employer, in front of me, one student from UST, the other student from Hong Kong University, and the Hong Kong University told me he or she has no capability to use ChatGPT because of the school banned him and her from using it. And HKUST one said, I am the master of ChatGPT. Which one I will hire? Easily. I need somebody who can do a proper job for me. Not the one giving me excuse that, it is the school's fault. So at the end of the day, they changed their mind. So here, I just want you to understand that, even though you have a good, intention to distinguish the good from the bad, but some way, you cannot stop, and you have to find a alternative way. So the rest of the world today, even I personally teach all my students to use ChatGPT, and my class, some class, teaching cybersecurity. Cybersecurity is something that it is not by memory. Even though you have a good memory, it won't be helpful. Cybersecurity is somewhat like you combat, with the scammers. So you have to be very creative. You have to think the other way around, how they hack into the system. So that I technically force them, everybody, single one, to use ChatGPT to do their homework. So if everybody are using ChatGPT, I don't have the problem that Hong Kong University is was claiming. All right? So I think you understand the communication. But the problem is that we cannot use ChatGPT. US government consider Hong Kong, technically it is part of China. So if it is part of China, China is on the sanction list. So we cannot use it. And a few months back, OpenAI cannot allow Hong Kong company to use it with the API. So now we suffer. So what's the solution? Any opinion?
Gemini.
Huh?
Gemini.
Gemini also cannot. Yes or no?
No,
I cannot use Gemini with my phone.
With my laptop, yeah.
Yeah, because your account is not in Hong Kong.
It's
You are.
Recently, so about 2 months ago, they allowed Hong Kong to use it. Hong Kong businesses can use
Businesses
Gemini.
that I cannot use. I just switched to Google Assistant to Gemini, and they said your region is restricted. Well, anyway, so we have to find our way to bypass it. One thing that I don't understand is that Hong Kong government is using a lot of money to build our own LLM, or even the LM for finance. I don't agree. Why? If US government stop Hong Kong from using Excel, okay, no Excel, what should we do? Build our own Excel solely for Hong Kong? No, ridiculous. So there are alternatives to Excel being made by China, like WPS, and use WPS. But Hong Kong government build our own Excel. It's something like that. If US government or even their friends like Japan stop giving us the right to buy cars, what should we do? Make our own car? Cannot. Just use Chinese car or Russian car. That's the way. So I think that I'm here to understand that we are suffering from a political issue. But if we have such a pressure, it's not a good decision to build everything from us. It won't work. Because even though we spend a lot of money, we build an engine which is workable, okay, for all civil servants. The trouble is that we have to keep training that engine, like it is a human being. So they say, I can read a lot of articles, I can read a lot of books. So by reading the books and articles, the engine can perform. But if the number of users are restricted, because we only have 7 million people, we are not enough to information to feed back to the system, and the system will get dumber and dumber and dumber. So if we really spend that money, we have to allow the whole China, the whole Belt and Road users to use that LLM. That makes sense to me. Okay? So at the moment, we are still using the very traditional way to administer the new developments of technology. Okay, so this is what I'm about to say. We luckily, before the sanction in place, Hong Kong government purchased a huge amount of GPU from NVIDIA, and the GPU at the moment resides in the science park, but nobody knows. I think outside world they protect the data center nicely, but they consider that it is an important piece of resources that we have to protect. But one thing I have to draw your attention is that in China, mainland China, there are, I think, more than 12, how many? I think 20 supercomputing centers. So to make that happen, central government link up all those systems so that, this is like a football team. So when you discover something, they share the information or they pass the ball, to the from the backyard to the front yard. This is how we are going to play that game as a team. But there's no Hong Kong is not exist. Any opinion why Hong Kong is not exist? Hong Kong just purchased that amount of GPU, so we should be capable, even though the size is still not as big as the mainland Chinese data center. Why Hong Kong is not exist? Any opinion? Under one country, two systems. Hong Kong, in the eye of China, is still a foreign country. Like our internet is not the Chinese, not in the Chinese world. So when the data flow from China to Hong Kong, SAR, what does it mean? It's not well protected. So another, you heard of the law, piece of law called GDPR, General Data Privacy Ordinance, regulations. This is from the European Union. So what's the purpose to have GDPR? Like Hong Kong, we have our data privacy ordinance many years ago. So the purpose is that when we individual pass the information to a company, and the company has to use our data according to our wish. You cannot use that data for other purpose. Like it is Octopus. I sent my membership information to Octopus, and Octopus resell the information to a insurer. It is no good. So GDPR is a piece of law to protect us, our interests. But our interest not only to share the data. Our interest is that if there's such a piece of law, I feel comfortable, then I will share more information to the industry. So if the industry have more information, they can make profit, and the country can tax those companies and make that country wealthy and GDP increase, right? So look at it in such a way. Say, in other words, to let you understand, if I'm a model, I have good figure. If I dress less, the less I dress, I can earn more money, right? Technically. So if I work for Victoria's Secret, under the Milan or Paris law, I'm well protected. Nobody can touch me. Nobody can shoot my photo and resell with it because I'm under this fashion design or whatever industry or practice. There's a practice. So if my body, my good figure can be used by the magazines or fashion industry, we create a lot of value. To us in Hong Kong, we do not have such a mindset. So ended up, everybody dressed, like the Middle East lady, because by their culture, it's dangerous to show their body to the foreigner, to the aliens, because it's dangerous. Because the law wasn't there, but because of religion's requirement, they still dress like that. So Hong Kong is a business center. We should not follow this kind of traditional culture. We should follow the Western world that we treasure the beautiful figure. So that by imposing the piece of law called GDPR, then the data will be flow, in the industry. And if something goes wrong, it is a criminal, and the government will act on the general user's behalf to sue the company as high as 4% revenue. Okay, I'm talking European Union. What if there's another piece of law called PIPL, Personal Information Privacy Law, imposed by Central Chinese government? So not only 4%, it is 5% a penalty of their annual revenue. So even Chinese government, they realize that that we have to protect the individual's data. So in the past, they are very bad. Whenever you call somebody asking for this service, somebody will just keep calling you. But now it is upside down. In mainland China, it is the top. So if Hong Kong has no GDPR and PIPL alike, no data will be easily traveled to Hong Kong and stationed in Hong Kong because the data will be stolen and misused under the system. I think it is the first time you heard of. I'm not a lawyer, but I need more data for my startups. I understand the importance. I work for German banks, so I understand GDPR. I work for Chinese bank. I train Chinese bank, so I understand PIPL. And I'm here in Hong Kong, I feel at ease because we have no legal framework. So it's somewhat like our traffic system. We have no transport law rules, and then the people drive in a funny way. So that I want that piece of law so that data can flow in a concrete way. If we have data, then we can train the AI, and the AI engine will fly in Hong Kong. So move on. This is what I said. Hong Kong government spent a lot of money to educate UST. No problem at the beginning. Okay, we need the research. We need the people to be here. But nobody told me the subsequent plans, how to maintain the LLM to run or to gain their knowledge. Because if it is only being used by Hong Kong government, if it is only being used by a city with only 7 million people, the LLM has no future. You know what I mean? So I know every one of you, despite the fact that you are not from the AI industry, you understand my logic. It's somewhat like you hire an intern, even though the intern is the top level student. If we lock up the intern in a small department, only exposed to a limited number of information, that intern in few years' time will be an ordinary worker. What we have to do is to flow the intern around, let the intern exposed to different departments, different practices, sometimes different city, different country. Then the intern will be the future manager. So our AI engine is somewhat like an intern. And the current development, I feel at ease because we are locking up the intern. We spend a lot of money and then only allow the intern to be used in a limited departments or occasion. Okay, there's a saying called data is the new oil. You ever heard of it? Data is the new oil. So oil and data are quite similar. So first thing, don't you know that there are 3 oil trading centers in the world? The largest one is in America, New York. Second largest one is in Europe, London. The third largest one should be in Asia, right? Where is it? Tokyo? Hong Kong? No. It's Singapore. Singapore is so small. Singapore has oil field? No. But Singapore has action plants for crude oil. It turns crude oil, which has no value, not much value, sometimes negative value in Southern America. You have to use a lot of resources to store the oil. So it costs some money to store it. If the crude oil cannot be turned into diesel, gasoline, it's useless. So Singapore, it resides on the Malacca Straits. All the tankers has to flow through the straits. And then they make battery plant to turn these low value crude oil to high value gasoline, for example. So Singapore is the third largest trading center for the oil industry. So go back to data. The attributes are the same. Raw data has not much value. Hong Kong companies usually just sometimes store the raw data due to taxation requirement, but they just let the raw data sit there like drainage oil. We have to turn the data into valuable data by using data analytics, by analyzing it, or by combining the data, overlaying them to create value. So we do not have such a culture yet. So if we have such a culture, Hong Kong can act like Singapore to be the best data mining city in the world. Why Hong Kong, but not Singapore did now? Singapore has the Malacca Straits. All the tanker has to flow through the Straits. If you are moving from Asia to Africa or Europe, Hong Kong is the mouth of China, remember. So Hong Kong is the only place in China that money can flow in and out freely. So for trading, for financial data, Hong Kong is the place that hosts not only the Western data, because we are connected to the internet. We are also hosting the Chinese data, because Hong Kong is part of China. And whenever the money flows through China and the rest of the world, the majority of transactions flow through Hong Kong. But we consider that those data are solely transactional data. We cannot, we are yet to discover the value of those data. We consider as crude oil only. What we have to do is a new culture by storing those data nicely, due to, based on a regulation or whatever, open them up and use the data to train our AI engine. I think only last month, the 5 financial regulators in Hong Kong, led by the Hong Kong Monetary Authority, have such an initiative. They are pulling all those, including the insurance authority, including the Security and Future Commissions. They sit down and try to consolidate the data and do something. They call it the finance LM or banking LM, invest LM by the Science and Technology University. Okay, they just started it, and of course they are scholars. They understand that the more data, the more merrier. And then when they discover that, you are the bank data is not enough. I need the insurance information. This is the other department. And then I need also the security trading. I want the stock market data. And then they say, no, that's that department. So end up, it's like I'm the intern. I can only see one photo, one picture. It's not enough. So now the government slowly discovered that. So the data are lying everywhere. So if you are into the marketing, you understand a little bit about O2O, online to offline, retail. You can see that from awareness to consideration to purchase to service to loyalty. The data are lying through the online world and offline world in such a manner. So for example, I'm selling cars. I'm a car company. I want to sell more cars. You have to build the awareness of the car buyers, so they know this brand name. Xiaomi SU7, okay, a new company with a new model. Then we make a lot of TV, we have a lot of events. Then we got an email, we got a website, we got a WeChat, 朋友圈. Then they consider to have a look, we have a demo, a test drive. It's not enough because they have to buy, right? So most Hong Kong company stop the customer journey here because it's already purchased. No, this is half of the journey because once they purchase the car, what happened? They will showcase the car. They will tell the friends that, you know, I bought this car. And also, buying a car is maybe the next time you will see the same customer only after 4 or 5 years. So you cannot just let, you know, the future customer doing their own business. You have to find a way to make sure that they come back. So that's why we have the car service center. So whenever they come back, they do the service. And when they do the service level in China is very, very good. I used to have a Chinese version of Xiaomi. Have you ever go to the Chinese service center? Amazing. Just go, and then they replace your battery within 30 minutes. Just sit there, shopping around, go to the market, have a coffee, and then they will have your phone fixed. Why? Because all the competitors doing the same tricks. So if the service level is high, next time I want to buy a phone, I will buy Xiaomi. Agree? Yeah, this is how we are going to do. And then subsequently, the loyalty expansion. If it is good, please convey the message to your friends. Okay? After you, don't you realize that in China, lately have you been to the Shenzhen to have a dinner or lunch? What's the big difference? Lately and the past. Lately, the dish, the presentation of the dishes are far better. And then the dining table have somewhat like a studio lighting. Why? If the food looks nice and everybody taking you know, 小红书 or whatever, and then they can do loyalty expansion. So that it changed the culture. Unfortunately, why the Hong Kong Cha San Tan is going downhill the business? Because you know, the toilet is still smelly, stinky, and the food going downhill is the same piece of food that it doesn't look like you know, those photos being shared among the Chinese users. All right, so consider we are doing AI, we are doing, you know, moving that direction. We need a lot of data, and we have to capture all the data along the whole customer journey. So this is Invest LM, and the 5 regulators have to join force. They said 5. I said not enough. We have a big problem here in Hong Kong. So Hong Kong is somewhat like Kodak. We are building films. To build films, we have segregation of duty. The production line has different departments, right? So it works in the past if we are doing traditional products. But now we are doing digital product. We have to reassemble everything from scratch. In the past, we have already 5 regulators. But don't you know that the 5 is still not covering the whole process. When you go to lend money, you can go to the bank, right? But have you ever heard of this advertisement? 借錢梗要還，係俾錢中介。Who are telling you, forcing all those advertisements to have that clause? Hong Kong police. So for the lender, money lender, they are not under HKMA's administration. So they are under Hong Kong police. So there's a big black box in the eyes of the credit agency, because the credit agency got the license from HKMA. But when they want to analyze, you know, the distribution of money, HKMA said, oh, this is police. So this is one loophole. And also, when you are going to exchange a renminbi with Hong Kong dollar, who makes it for you? The OTC exchange house, so they are under Home's administration. 海關, the Customs and Excise Department. So crazy in Hong Kong. So they are so decentralized. At the end of the day, the AI, we cannot train the engine nicely. Okay? So in such a case, based on this incident, what I'm doing, the first one I'm doing, to pull the Chinese AI leaders to Hong Kong. So this lady is the chief of this BAAI, a Beijing government-owned research house, and this lady born from the same city as my not city, the village, as my mom and pop. So we can talk in Cantonese nicely, but she resides in Shenzhen. Unfortunately, when I introduced her to the Hong Kong government, the Hong Kong government has not much feeling about the treasure of such a system. So if you have time, go to check who is BAAI. BAAI was formed because America stopped all those research houses in China, and Beijing is the place. And then she was from IBM. So we have Oracle, IBM, Microsoft, and the SAP. All those are scientists. They were unemployed, and now Beijing government hosted them. So that's what I did. That's me. This is the chief of the DPO, and then I had it. I tried. I'm still working. So if you discover that there are other similar kind of activities, please join us. We need them. And if you are running startups, you need something, a service provider like that. So the Hong Kong startup policy, the AI policy. These are what we are using lately. All of them are from the Western world. You see the problem? So if the Americans switch off the engine, or our startup in Hong Kong has no choice but to move to Singapore. So we need to do something. So that's why I am introducing the Chinese one, so that when they really switch off the engine, we can survive without moving to other cities. And this is one of the startups I raised it for 4 or 5 years. They are using NLP at the beginning and now being recognized. So go to Google, AEREV, AEREV. Okay, trying to help him to make him popular. Okay, by Google, this company. So they are being recognized by Singapore, not Hong Kong. We have a very bad story in Hong Kong because we somewhat like DJI. It's a local company, you must be bad. And then I told the gentleman, go to Singapore for competition, and go to Middle East to go for competition. Ended up this company being recognized by Singapore, and went all the way with Chen Baobo, okay, to Spain and UK lately. So it's a long battle. So in Hong Kong, we have the incubation program, but they all are talking about money. I'm promoting the government not to give only money. We have to give them resources, like to give them talent program, to give them the use of AI for free, to give all these startups not only the facilities, but the tool to make them strong. And most importantly, is to use them, say for the tender, being tender out by the Hong Kong government. They have to favor the local startup so that they can have a higher chance to be to serve the government. So at the moment, we don't have such a policy. Move on. So this is my LinkedIn. So if you feel interested in my sharing, add my LinkedIn and we can have a subsequent conversation and join our team. So to make Hong Kong strong again. Okay. So Q&A time.
Thank you, Professor Chau, for this brief and insightful sharing. Now we will open the floor for questions again. You may raise your hands up or you may scan the QR code to type in the question. I will check the question from Google Form later.
So anyone using, apart from the gentleman, anyone using AI to a certain extent? Yes? How?
I'm actually also working in the healthcare industry, and we use AI for risk predictions as well, with all the models.
So we use an AI analytics, right? Analytical, so it's natural. Okay, so that don't you have any hurdle to face, source of information or whatever?
I think the biggest hurdle we have, at least in the initial stage, was the bridge between there's, as you mentioned, that there is a lot of data lying around in the healthcare industry, particularly when we are working in the public sector. So data is definitely available, but people who have the data do not have the knowledge to apply the use of AI or any sort of analytics really. And the people with the knowledge, they do not have access to it. So for example, I think a couple of years ago, they allowed, there was a access to data, of healthcare data, I think it's forgotten it inside the Portland University, but there were very limited quotas, and in the data itself, if you don't have a clinical background, or if you don't have background working in the public sector, it would be relatively difficult to understand. So it was difficult to bridge.
Right.
Yeah.
So what should we do?
So for our team, because we do have people both in the public sector, and we have people who has a data science background, so working as a team, we can overcome that gap. But I'm not sure how other people.
Yeah, exactly. So we need as I mentioned, we need teamwork. So with only a small group of people that are doing this, it must be much slower, than our competitors. The good thing is that, don't you know that the set of data being captured by the hospital authority, they are far better, quality of data are far better than the rest of the world.
Yes,
Because in Hong Kong, it's so silly. On one thing is silly. You can only say yes or no. If you want, you are on the record. All records are there, and you cannot stop it. Okay? Once there it's like you said yes to Facebook, the same level, because it seems that it no longer belongs to you. So because of this nature, the data sets are full. Even though we only have maybe a few million, patients' information, but they are in full. So this is one characteristic that we are superior to our competitors. But I don't know, because the situation may change when we are going to enhance our personal data privacy ordinance. So we have to find out the way later on. Okay, good. So you are using it, and you discover that we have some fundamental issues that we have to solve. Okay, good. So let's join force to find out how. So I'm promoting open data for a decade. So we are going to have it in Poly University soon. Okay. So any other questions?
I've received one question online. In your experience mentoring startups, what common mistakes do you see entrepreneurs make when seeking fundings, and how can they avoid these pitfalls?
Okay, now it's nothing to do with AI. It's when they seek funding. So the situation is that based on experience, Hong Kong is one of the best places to get angel funding. Very easy. It's somewhere like it's a lot of kindergartens that you can enter, and very high quality. And then perhaps primary school also all right, but it's not enough secondary school. So a lot of startup. The problem is that because the funding at the beginning is so easy to get, they did not prepare enough, like on the legal industry. So you are not protecting enough at the beginning. So at the end of the day, when the secondary pitch, you will from time to time receive a lot of requests that you cannot handle. Give me your financial model. No financial model, because I have no time to make the financial model. And sometimes they question about your financial model. They want you to adjust it. But because your financial model made by hand, manually, so if you are going to change the structure, it took maybe weeks with a special team to handle it. But you are not good in finance. You are a startup leader, so that you have difficulties. What I have to do is that I think my suggestion to the government is that we have to build such a team to provide a service to the startup for free. So rather than give you the money, I give you the team to build financial model nicely. That will be different. And also, as an investor, I want to see that better structural with standard, rather than his financial model or her financial model. They are quite hard to digest. So to answer the question is that try to, on one hand, get the resources from maybe the accelerator or maybe some the professionals to get the structure of the financial model or those kind of information requested by the investors, so and also get more professional structure. That's been, the evidence that you just say it because at the beginning you are so easy to get the money, so that people believe in you. But for the sizable investment, they will look into the detail and do the due diligence. And I think the startup usually has a problem. One more thing is that because it's a natural or deficiency in Hong Kong. Don't you realize that Hong Kong is the only place on earth you do not have to pay GST general? If you do not have to pay GST or VAT and calculate or update your journal or your statement frequently, what happened? You defer it to the day you do the banking the returns for the inland revenue. So all set of information, the financial information, can be a mess. So when the investor asks you, you have nothing to present nicely, or you present, or you can guess this is a rough amount. But once you do the audit, you will suffer a big problem because the auditor will find that it's mismatched heavily. Then the investor will question you and they will stop investing. Okay? So understand our advantage. We do not have to spend time to do the taxation, but this is our disadvantage because if we do not have to do the ongoing update of our ledger, or everything will be wrong. The traction will be hard to tell. All right? Okay. Any other question? May I know the distribution of startup you are doing? Financial startup? Finance? No. Amazing. So Hong Kong has no finance. So healthcare, right? Healthcare? Okay, healthcare? Okay, good. Any education? No? So who are the rest? I would guess Hong Kong has not many business.
ESG.
ESG, yeah, beautiful, beautiful. ESG. Biomedical, okay. Okay, biomedical is good, Hong Kong, but high risk. Big gambling. Okay, ESG is a general requirement, but ESG has another issue. It's the data. How can you prove the data and the carbon credit? Okay, good. And
AI.
AI.
Yeah,
So
right.
tech. So, but who are your customers?
We are just starting out, but for the customers, it's the traders and the professional investors.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. So it's finance. Okay.
It's part of finance, but mostly our tech is.
Yeah. Well, there's no non-tech finance now. Okay. So all finance has to be technical. So you are in the right direction. Okay. Good. So don't you have any questions? How can I help? Anybody entering Science Park or STP? Anybody has a plan? Which one?
So we're in the incubation stage now.
In Science Park.
Science Park.
Okay. Good. Then any hurdles?
I think the main thing as of right now is just looking at more and more. So the product fit is there. So effectively we use AI to understand and modulate the gut microbiome.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of people don't really understand about the gut microbiome to begin with.
Okay.
So there's a lot of education that is needed. Definitely good traction so far. So partnering with doctors and the like. I think I just heard you mention about the HA's database. It would be interesting to see if I can get access to that. I know about that, but I don't know how to go about accessing that. That's
Please join force and tell.
Be good to hear a little bit more
we have such a
about that.
best database on earth to a certain extent. Okay, good. So any plan? Cyberport, Science Park, CDU Tech 300. So I'm the Directing Committee member, and I also run the Hong Kong ICT Award. So I'm the Deputy Chief Judge. So if you are strong enough next year, then I can give you a free advice. So I will tell you, even though usually one problem to the subsequent problem is that startup in Hong Kong, I think due to the education system, if you are local, we were not trained enough to present anything nicely, because we are the engine to answer to the Q&A or whatever examination. No chance for us to express, our opinion in front of a stranger. Because of this limitation, we usually omitted, the other side's expectation. So we just keep saying our story, rather than telling something that move the mind of the opposite side. So to retrain this every single time, you know how I train them. So if it is a boy, then I will ask the boy how to date a girl. If it is a girl, then I ask the girl, how to date a boy. Because to get the romance, you will try to see the other side. So if the girl likes flowers, you will find out whether you like flowers or chocolate or whatever. Then you remember her birthday or whatever, the romance day. So for a startup, train to understand the investor requirement, train to understand your end user's requirement, rather than you keep saying that you are doing the best service or products. It's deadly. It's deadly because you are entering a competition, and you have to understand the judges think on the other side. Then I think it is the one important takeaway that on top of this AI or whatever general understanding, one takeaway is that how to understand the judges, investors, or whoever's mindset, and do it like a romance. Okay, and practice more. Unlike the romance, romance you can only have one usually, but for pitching, you keep pitching, then the feedback will be more. Okay, so maybe this is the last question then. Just ask me anything. I'm generic. From AI to cybersecurity to finance and to pitching. And I'm a photographer. So if you ask me art tech, so far no art tech yet, right?
We are a robotics company.
Yes.
In the construction industry.
Okay.
One of the problems we are facing is we don't have enough space for this. We are doing hardware and
Get it in Hong Kong.
We're an incubation company in STD, but the space is not enough.
Space is not enough.
That's the problem.
Yeah. So how can we help? I don't know. So I did try to help because Hong Kong government said they are building the Western District development. So we asked them to allocate enough space for you, but that will be 10 years later. Okay, so we will solve the problem 10 years later. You might try to do the same thing as us, get a back office in Shenzhen or further. Not the heart of Shenzhen is quite expensive, but if you can ride on the train, I ride on the train on 2 and 4 yesterday and the day before yesterday, no problem. So you just get somewhere there. Maybe a temporary solution. Okay, you familiar with Shenzhen? Maybe. Okay, maybe. Then you has to be more familiar now. Then, but cheaper the cost. Okay. So now you know me. You can Google me, and you can add my LinkedIn. And I wrote a lot of articles. I wrote my books too. So I documented, what I expected, and I ran the alarm, blow the whistle in 2016, telling the whole Hong Kong government that Hong Kong will go downhill seriously. Nobody listened, and then that really happened. So now I'm saying that Hong Kong has a bright future, and read my articles. I will tell everybody how Hong Kong will be strong again. We have a bright future because our money is US based. Don't you know that? 1 to 7.8 for 41 years. Since 1983, it's already pegged with US dollar. So if the money is pegged and issued by the free banks, not the central government, not the central bank, what does it mean? The money we are using are stable coin. The only thing has not been tokenized yet. So once we tokenize our money, we will be the future. Why? Because we are US based. And if Chinese company want to trade with Africa, they will use Hong Kong dollar on chain with smart contract. What does it mean? Based on my saying, all the data will flow through Hong Kong. And then we can analyze the data and we can tell, what will happen. Like in Hay, the Tai Yi, know everything around the world, and we can do prediction much accurate here in Hong Kong. So if all patients go to the hospital, they pay Hong Kong dollar, you will know, the frequency they visit, the size of money they pay, blah blah blah. Then you can have you superior to the Singapore or to the other startups. You know what I mean? Okay. So the second takeaway is that I own the money that we are using, and it is legalized. And the bill was passed yesterday, the first reading of stablecoin sandbox, just yesterday. So I on this, you may not interested before, but you are interested in raising money. It will be a good piece of tool you can raise money from by using stablecoin, because you will pay back to the investor using smart contract. And they will love to invest money to you, because when you get some money back, they will automatically debit from your transactional account. You know what I mean? Different kind of raising money. But next time when I have time, I will try to introduce the new mechanism to raise money and give back to the investors. It will be fun. Okay? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Chen, and all of you for participating. On behalf of Wildlife Foundation, I would like to express our sincere gratitude to Professor Chen, Mr. Chau, and all of you for joining us today. The workshop is extremely fulfilling, and I hope we will make meaningful connections today. So we join hands together to make it together. Thank you again for your participation today, and for the rest of the time you may have a free chat with Professor Chen or with other applicants. Thank you.